Okay.
Wow.
Did you actually check the audio levels beforehand?
Yeah, I was listening to you. I think we're good.
Okay.
Remind me to actually play with them at some point so that we don't have to do this every time, because there's probably a way to do it that is simpler than this. It's easier with podcasts because you can bundle everything and then balance it, which is simpler, but what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well,
Info.
yeah, we're here doing Disintegration. Hooray!
Yep.
The
big sad.
The only good Cure album.
One of I disagree, but
we know it's Kyle's favorite from South Park, at least.
Well, his creator's favorite.
Well, he said it.
Actually, it's not real.
It's his character's favorite in
Yeah, the character's favorite. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I didn't mean the voice actor.
No, I know that you didn't.
And the creators of South Park love The Cure.
Well, everyone does.
Man, this is the 8th studio album by The Cure.
We've done 8 of these?
Crazy. We haven't done 9, technically.
We've done 9 if you count Japanese Whispers.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I skipped that
rolled
one.
that in with the top. Yeah, that's true. Well, you still listen to it.
It feels like we've done 4 of these.
3 Imaginary Boys, 17 Seconds, Faith, Pornography, Japanese Whispers, The Top, Head on the Door, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, and now Disintegration.
Man, time flies.
It sure does.
It's been like 2 months of nothing but The Cure. What an odd decision I made.
How does it feel to turn 31 at the end of the month?
Why would you fucking say that?
Way you feel the same way Robert Smith felt turning 30 on this album, and this is also 10 years after the first one. Which is cool.
Michi, if you remember, when I did turn 30, you were there. We were both we were sitting at your desk watching Three Gatsu, and just as Ray was walking along the bridge, it was midnight and I turned 30. It's like, damn, I did not think I would turn 30 here.
Then you did a bunch of crack and drank a lot and wrote a bunch of sad songs about how you felt. Yeah, I remember. It was cool. It was probably the coolest thing you ever did. Anyway, Disintegration. Yeah, this is the big one. This is what everyone has been waiting for, maybe. If anyone watches this. So
yeah, someday it'll be a record of our lives.
Yep. Hard to talk about such a. This is the big monolith people have to contend to if they want to try to get into the Cure, the Cure album. The backstory is shrouded in mystery in some ways. In other ways, it's crystal clear. Basically, after the success of Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, and particularly Just Like Heaven as a single, the Cure have really become headline acts. Robert Smith's a big celebrity. Everyone's making a bunch of money. Champagne. And, of course, Robert Smith is going to turn 30, and what does he do when he's pleased? He gets sad, I guess.
That's how it goes.
He really is.
He's that whole artistic thing of, like, my fans, people are loving us, but for the wrong reason, basically. And I'm annoyed about this. And he said, basically, that all his favorite albums, everything he considered a masterpiece, basically, he felt that he was always like, well, people always did. Whoever makes the masterpiece, they usually do it before they're 30, basically, is what his thinking was. And he was sad that he didn't feel like there was any album he could call a true masterpiece. Like, he has hang-ups about all of them, basically. And also, we're far enough removed from the trilogy now that he can kind of, that was 82, so 7 years since Pornography, that he can look back on it and be like, I'm far away enough that doesn't really hurt anymore, and I'm done with this, like, kind of fun foray escape I've had with especially Head on the Door and Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. I want to go back and touch upon how I felt back then, but from like a more mature standpoint, basically. And so I'm going to drink and drug my way through through turning 30. And also he's tying the knot with his his forever girlfriend since the band started. on and off, I'm sure, and I'm sure there were lots of, cheating and stuff like that, but that's par for the course.
Those city
yeah, so that's basically what happened. They fucking just like hold themselves up in this place. It's safe to say the record label was not happy at all. Like, this was viewed as like suicide. They were like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you just had your biggest fucking pop hits. Your MTV is playing Hot 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 and Why Can't I Be You on the hour, and you want to make this fucking sad, forlorn, like laconic album. Like, all these songs are like over 6 minutes. Are you nuts? Like, we want radio play, dude. What the fuck? You can't do this. And he was like, fuck you. I know what I want to do. And kind of like with pornography, he's vindicated. I mean, much more now, because obviously this is their most successful album ever. It goes fucking mega platinum. All these songs are fucking massive hits. All the singles.
You're mean Disintegration, right?
Disintegration, yeah. But like he said in that clip I shared sometime, like they wanted another album of just like Heavens and stuff like that, and he was like, I don't want to do that. And I guess it was the right move. Yeah. Oh man, I think we should just get the 2 little B-sides out of the way first for getting into the album proper. None of the B-sides around this are super important. I could have included like Babel and Out of Mind from Fascination Street, a bunch of stuff. I just picked 2 that are noteworthy. Too Late and Fear of Ghosts, which have interesting things about them.
One of them does, the other one not so.
Well, let's start with Too Late, which I only include because I've always thought it was cute. It's very short. I like it as just this glittery little, kind of reminds me of Head on the Door, in between days sort of thing. I like that song. Occasionally I'll put it on. It's never going to be a favorite, but I thought it was fun little inclusion to throw in there. Yeah.
I like Too Late well enough.
Yeah, it's the B-side to Love Song too, which is like, makes sense.
I like for Too Late. I mean, I like that it's short. I didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's like a little bit boring. I don't really like the keyboard. Like, bass is fine. Guitar I do like, and like the little guitar solo section at the end as well. But it's sort of a nothing burger.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything special to say about it. Fear of Ghosts is more interesting.
Yeah.
It was written by, I have an interesting anecdote for it. It was written by the keyboardist, Roger O'Donnell, who came on, I think he came on the last album. I don't think he was here for Head on the Door. He's kind of replaced Lowell, and we'll get into that because that's a big part of also this album, is Lowell's absence. Yeah, but he came up to Robert and was like, this is like something I had in the works. I should have gotten it ready for like Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. I don't really know if it really fits now, and it doesn't really sound like a Cure song. And Robert famously responded, like, as soon as I sing on it, it becomes a Cure song. This is the thing. And he was right. Yeah, kind of I don't know. I always think this one, fits in. This would have been like cool B-side for like Charlotte Sometimes or something.
Yeah, it sounds like earlier Cure stuff. Yeah,
it's very foreboding. I mean, obviously got a ghost in the fucking title. Like, yeah, this is a haunting for sure. I like the line, the further away I get from the things that I care about, the less I care about how much further I get. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but it's an interesting sentiment.
Yep.
Just a worthwhile curio again. I don't expect anyone to be like, oh my god, it's the most fucking amazing song ever. But it's it's worth listening to. It's interesting for its kind of cathedral creeping sound.
I appreciated the effort. I found it kind of annoying. There's good ideas in it, but the sudden shifts were just so extreme that it felt it felt like they were trying to get attention and not trying to create a cohesive song. I get how someone could like Fear of Ghosts, but I didn't. I just found it frustrating.
The whole thing with Cure B-sides is that they'll just go anywhere. Like there is no like, there won't be exactly consistency because like any weirder ideas they have, they'll usually consign to a B-side and just be like, we're just gonna do something kind of out there, and it might work or not depending on how you assess it. But flip side, you can do more experimental stuff.
It is a little bit weird where they alternate between like instrumentation and vocals,
and quiet and loud too. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think it's that, like with sound, it's not that big of a difference. I do like the bass on the song. I do like the guitar. Intro section is too long, too repetitive. I do like the effects. I do like the lyrics on this one. I like the vocal style, but it's too quiet during the outro. Like you cannot hear it well, which kind of sucks. And the song is just too long and too repetitive for what it is. It's not bad, but another song I don't really care much about.
All valid points.
All valid values.
Yeah, I like
jump in
Too Late more, but I don't have strong feelings about it.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Anyway, we're here for the main fucking attraction.
We're here to make Michi mad.
Well, I don't know. I don't think I will be.
I mean, about this song.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I will say I didn't get Plainsong as much the first times I encountered this album as a younger person. It has grown immensely on me, and it being such a like lush, gleaming opener is part of what makes me listen to this album a lot. Is because like when I'm just picking like I want to listen to an album, like this having this as the opener kind of makes me like, ooh, I want to just click on that, and then the whole album kind of unrolls from there. But I love Plainsong. I think it's a perfect opener. Just this fucking lush orchestral just explosion that starts off the thing. Very vibrant. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about it.
This was one of the 2 or 3 songs I liked the best on this album, actually.
I'm happy to hear that.
I forget what song it was an album or 2 ago, where I talked about how it was very big and grand, and it kind of sounded like boss fighting music.
Well, you said Breathe was like a video game song. I mean, it's definitely similar. It's in that vein of like ethereal.
Yeah. I also dislike it for pretty much the exact same reason.
You just don't vibe with these like more bleary ones, I guess. Yeah, the drone.
I mean, it's the specific droning sound that's too loud in the mix that sort of hurts my ears, and that ruins the song for me.
I like the orchestral feel that some of these have. I like it when The Cure does that.
Yeah, the production is a high point on this album. Like that is something people point to as enjoying a lot about this, is just like kind of living in that.
There's a million
soundscape. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Good effects.
Yeah, for sure. It's very like vibrant, lush. The whole album, not just this track. Like it's very beaming. This is just like, I always view Disintegration as like a descent into ruin. Like obviously the title gives it away, but like the first clutch of songs are these very like verdant kind of like visions of like forests and pastures and kind of like everything is kind of in full bloom, and progressively everything shrivels and dies and fucking gets fucking destroyed as you get deeper into the album. That's how I view it. And so this opening clutch, like Plainsong Pictures of You and Close Down, kind of have a similar sound font to them. They're all very glittery and very flittering and kind of ethereal. Before Love Song kind of establishes itself as like the single. And Plainsong is my favorite of the 3. Yeah, just
of the 3 what?
To it, viewer of these first 3 songs, which I kind of like. I think of them as like part of a group, like they're more similar between each other than they are to the rest of the album. Except maybe for Untitled at the end kind of throws back to it. Yeah.
I mean, I do like the actually, I misread that. I wrote down dreamy intro, which is like the early part of the intro section. I sort of like that. And then there comes like this one little section that reminds me of the Chariots of Fire.
Really?
It's just this one moment basically, and then it doesn't happen again. But it sounds like when the sound really kicks in at the beginning.
Yeah, I know. I think I know which part you mean.
Yeah. As I said, I have problems with like the background droning. If it was a bit quieter, I think the song, I would probably have not any real problem with the song. But Jesus, can't even talk. But that ruins it for me. It's a very atmospheric song. General overall instrumentation is fine, and I do like the guitar sections. It's basically just the droning.
I like
thing
the lyrics too. You need to look them up to know what the fuck they are. But once you do know, you can hear them. Like first few times you can barely tell what he's saying, obviously intentionally. Like he sounds like a fucking ghost, like phasing into the song. But they are, I mean, the lyrics across this album are very good. Like it's some of the best like poetry
That's funny because I disagree. Like for me, this has like very like
really?
In terms of pure lyrics, very generic and toned down lyrics compared to what he did before. So I do most of the time I do not like it, and the same with the vocal performance. Like it's also more toned down than it was on like Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me.
Well, yeah, obviously it's more toned down, but I think it's better. Like it's with the exception of maybe the kiss. Like I think this is like the perfection of the kind of like wail that he's had for the most of the career, and he's kind of making it sound more refined on this album and also very whispery in lots of places. No, I
mean, we will get to the songs
about lyrics and
the lyrics
singing,
are good because there are some as well, but for the majority it feels too boring, too generic. Like I think he's done better work, especially with how like we could see on Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, what a vocal range he has, what styles he can sing in, like what he's capable of, and it's not really here on this album.
I don't really think Disintegration would be improved by him singing differently on like each song though. Like that's why people say it's the best album. It's because it works the best as an album. Like all the songs in here, they gel perfectly well with each other. Like nothing feels out of place. It's a continuous mood that it sets. So having you can do something like Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, which jumps styles all over the place and works for a lot of it, but there are parts of it that don't really work for me, like Snake Pit or Fight. I mean, there's some variety to the vocals, but I think the consistency is what makes it like hold together.
I did notice that this seemed a lot more cohesive as an album than most of what we've had.
I think cohesive is a good word for it.
I mean, sure.
That's the kind of thing he's setting off to do. Like even stuff in the trilogy always had like that one track that I'm always like this one doesn't really have any track that I'm like that I would skip or anything. I'm just happy. Do you have anything extra to say about Plainsong, or should we move on?
I just like the vibe.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, it's hard to tell how much stuff just influences me, like in that split second when I first read the title, but it does feel like, and this is stupid, but like a plane. Like it feels very wide. Like the song opens up and it like you feel like a horizontal big like vista, like a fjord almost. Like it just like paints this landscape immediately.
Pining for the fjords, you say?
I am pining for the fjords. And then we jump into one of the Cure's most popular songs ever. I had not checked this for any of the previous ones, but I was curious on Spotify what like the top 10 most listened to songs were by the Cure. And I was not surprised to see Pictures of You is in the top 10. So it was the single version, I believe. Not this. The album version is like longer. It's like 7 minutes.
Like 7 minutes
is
something.
like 5 minutes. I know Jaws will not be a big fan of this one, so I'll ask him last.
Oh no!
I thought Pictures of You was fine. I think it was definitely in the upper half. I like the Cure when they're kind of sad and creepy and cloying. So I like
Really?
that. Yeah.
Which is most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's most of the time.
Or
like
I
the
don't know.
caterpillar, like
Yeah, or
they're
like
really sad and clawing in that.
yeah, well, like like "Close to Me" is one of my favorite songs so far. This didn't reach
Yeah.
that levels, but it kind of had a same vibe. That was nice.
Pictures of You always reminds me of How Beautiful You Are. I like How Beautiful You Are more, but they're these similar, like, I think it's very nostalgic. Obviously, the lyrics and the title influence that. I can see it being drawn out for some people. I really like the instrumental architecture around it. I like all the little like sprinkles that it has throughout, where it's never quite the same. Like, it may seem like it first few times, but if you pay attention, like, it is kind of a weirdly shifting and adding in little flourishes here and there addition to this kind of slower pop song, because it's the same structure as like Love Song. It's just drawn out, like it's a slower ballad sort of thing. Yes, also very cute set. This one and Love Song are like staples for people to put on like mixtapes for their girlfriends. Like,
I think
put
it does make
pictures of
sense.
you and Love Song on there. Don't put Lullaby on there. I have made that mistake. I'm kidding.
It's mixed results. So.
Yeah, don't talk about putting your tongue in their eyes. They don't
what
like
about
that.
what about Close to Me?
Close to Me would be not. I still feel like it has creepy stalker vibes.
What about Killing an
I don't
Arab?
know. No, I definitely wouldn't put
Not
that
that
on there.
one.
No. Jaws, are you gonna say that you think it's
Yeah.
just kind of boring?
I've said it is decent, but I don't care much about it. But I do like the drumming on it. Like the drumming on this album is pretty decent.
I was thinking that when I was listening to it. I was like, I bet Jaws will like the drumming on here, because it's kind of the return to that like Hanging Garden, like the like sort of lower drum register, where it's it's got a lot of that.
Yeah. I do like the drum. It's probably the thing I like the most about that song in general. Guitar is fine. Bass is a bit quiet and boring. And this is another song that reminds me of New Order songs. Like, there's once again a section that sounds like a little bit
Bizarre Love
like
Triangle.
Dreams Never End, which is like, I think like the third or fourth Cure song that sounds a little bit like that, or reminds
More
me of that.
doo-doo-doos too. It's so funny when you like think of like the singles, like almost all of them have doo-doo-doo in them somewhere. Just this joke on Duran Duran that has just become like a staple of their sound. It's so funny.
All great art is made of spite.
I like the additional effects and instrumentation. Yeah, that does.
Okay. Well, there you go.
It's a decent song. Like, I don't hate it. Like, when do I ever?
That's okay. I'm surprised.
I have it like in the middle, more or less.
Also, fun music video where they're just recording in the middle of like a haily snowstorm, and they're just like just clowning around. Like, that's always been like Robert's kind of persona, is like he's kind of a little like this clown caricature who you shouldn't take too seriously, unless then he can surprise you. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, and I'd just get this clutch out of the way with Close Down, which has always been like my least favorite. I love everything on this album, but like it always just like ends up being my this is the point of least engagement for me.
Yes,
I think it's a good song, like objectively. And I like the like horn sort of like that thing going throughout it. It's just never really gotten it. There's no really section of it where it really gets its hooks in me completely. Like, I appreciate this is a shorter one. I enjoy listening to it just fine, but I've never been a massive fan. Not one I listen to outside of the album, for sure. Like, I only hear it when I'm listening to the album itself. That drum thing you were talking about is back with this one in full force too.
Yeah, I actually have a note that's just bongos ?
They're not bongos. They're just toms, but yeah. They're very bass heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. With this one,
yeah. Go on.
With this one, I put that it feels like it's a pretty good match for Plain Song. It does seem like they go together.
Yeah.
Other than that, it wasn't super interesting. I did like the choice of instruments, how they had a nice contrast with each other. This wasn't a
Mhm.
knockout song, but I thought it was fine. I just
The
thought there was
lyrics
some
were
good
fun too.
contrast.
Yeah, like starting to have the whole. The first one is more vague and like kind of setting the tone for the album. The second one is obviously a relationship song and has very evocative lyrics about heartbreak and relationships ending. The third one is like he's just going into like very short little few lines where he's just talking about how he feels like he's closing down and this is sort of the end, this closing a chapter on his life, I guess. Doesn't really feel present tense as a person anymore. He's feeling the effects of age. Yeah.
Also agreed. We're
God
still
damn it.
on the whale page that might confuse anyone who would
Oh,
be
sorry.
watching it.
There we go.
For me, I do like the drumming once again. I do not like the keyboard, the main keyboard. Like it sounds too generic. Like they just discovered this effect or this style, and let's just play this. Bass is okay.
I get that.
Guitar is okay, but I don't really like the song. It's just too boring outside the drumming.
I won't hold that against you at all. Took some time for me to grow on it.
I mean, one thing I did notice on the album in general is that should I say like many of the songs, at least some of the songs, definitely get better the further along in the song you are.
Yeah,
and in general, just listening to the songs more often,
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
they grow on you.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, you have to listen to it more often than once.
Yeah, this album grows on you a lot on re-listen and stuff. It's not the kind of thing where you can just play it once, someone goes, "So, right, masterpiece, huh?" Yeah, I was thinking about that because Green on one podcast he mentioned how he enjoys more when songs are like building to stuff, and in the past there have been Cure songs where they're just like happy to like stay like they come up with an idea like a mood thing and then they just do it for verse chorus, like The Blood or something, or Kyoto Song, where it's like it sounds good and it's kind of the same all the way through. Most of the songs on Disintegration always add in like something that they were building toward, like some new lick shows up at the 75% across the song mark, like or they start, or a lot of them do the thing I love where they just kind of keep layering elements on each other until it becomes like this crescendo sort of thing. I really love that. And I appreciate that throughout the whole album. And speaking of great songwriting, oh man, it's Love Song, boys. Everyone and their mom loves Love Song.
Yeah, this threw me because
I do too.
This freaked me out because I realized how many times I had heard this before.
It's a staple of radio for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's one of the few songs where even if you're not into The Cure, you've just heard it passively.
I haven't. I don't think I've heard this before.
Really? How strange.
Yeah, maybe they don't play love songs.
Friday I'm in Love from the next album supplanted it, but that was more kind of about like how massive they already were. This one was like a shock to everyone that it was so massive. Like by far their biggest song up to this point. It fucking nearly goes to number 1. It's there for fucking months. Like, yeah, this just fucking caught everyone's attention. And it's so funny because the band hated it for like a long time. Like I think well, they don't. It's not like a Creep situation where they're like, I don't know. It's kind of similar though, because it's like, I think Robert just feels too personal about it because he wrote this for his wife. Like, it's kind of the most openly like heartfelt thing on the album. Very very like
vulnerable.
Like vulnerable. Like like what do you call it? Like mushy kind of that he gets on this, and I think he kind of felt like regretful about that, and they didn't really want to put it on the album, but everyone's like, are you stupid? And they never performed it live for like ages. They were always like playing all the other songs, like playing Love Song, but obviously beautiful love song, perfect instrumentation, is fucking gorgeous on it, and the guitar solo is like one of my favorites. I just love that I just love like tumbling like rain sound thing, fucking cascades on you. Just like pop in terms of like pop craft. Like this is just like A+ on the assignment of just like making a love song single. Like
I prefer Copcraft.
Yeah, obviously everyone has had like if you hear this as a teenager for the first time like I did, like everyone just has their moment with the song. I feel kind of weird about like Love Song and Lullaby because they are the song they are like some of the Cure songs that I had listened to way before I got into them as like a band proper. Like there's songs I listened to a lot on like mixtapes and playlists I would make. Fascination Street for some reason I'd never heard like as a teenager, so it doesn't feel the same as the other two to me as like the big singles. Pictures of You also. But yeah, who doesn't love Love Song, right?
Yeah, no one does not love.
I was surprised how high you put it, Jaws. Ended up
Yeah,
supplanting.
it's like my second or third favorite song.
Yeah,
on the album, I think, which is sort of surprising for me as well. But I there's like nothing really about this that I don't like. The only thing is that I can criticize is that the bass is merely like fine, but everything else is good. I like the keyboard. I like the guitar.
yeah.
I like
The swooshing like
singing.
violin synths, yeah, are great.
Yeah, and I like the guitar solo. This is just a good song.
Yeah. And you know, you can be like you could criticize lyrics for being like kind of basic, but also like the way
I mean, in this one they sort of work.
they're universal, but
Yeah.
like their simplicity, like the way you could feel that he's just singing this to his sweetheart, and it's like I don't have to complicate it. Like I can just say, you know, I'll always love you and stuff like that, and you know what he means like perfectly. Yeah, yeah, I agree. What do you think?
This was almost impossible for me to have
Like critical
thoughts
distance.
about because this was like it's like being asked to review the Happy Birthday song. It's like I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I know it's kind of obvious.
Just
like,
one of those things I've heard 100 times and never
like,
thought about once. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. That's fine.
It was fine. I mean, one of the definitely top third or half of top five of the album. It's probably number 5 exactly.
I think that's where I put it. Maybe not.
Damn, spooky.
I mean, I have a hard time like jumbling between the like Lullaby, Fascination Street, Love Song all like claw at each other for the ranking spots in my head because they're all such great singles. Yeah, it's tricky, but I mean everyone, if anyone would listen to this and haven't heard Love Song, like what are you doing? Go play that shit.
Go kill yourself.
Hey,
what? No,
we haven't gotten to that part of the album yet. This is, man, and then we kind of take the downshift in tempo into Last Dance. Interesting. I always think of this like the thing I've been skirting around this whole time is like obviously this album is kind of a rework of Faith. Like this is like the matured, much more confident form of what he was kind of trying to do on Faith. Like they both have this kind of like religious monastic longing cemetery vibe to them, whereas but Faith, he was like 21 and here he's 30. Like he on that one there were things you could indict as being kind of like silly and short-sighted in a distance, like, you know, stealing lyrics from Gorman Gaston and stuff like that. Like and I love Faith obviously in all the trilogy, but like there were things at I always think of that album as being like a dusty old monastery, and it's like it's trying to be simplistic. Like that album is all about the bass and the drums occasionally. It's trying to be minimalist, like in a way. And this is much more verdant and evergreen this is like if that was like a dusty monastery, this is like a lush cathedral that is like that also the rain got in, so it's growing like a bunch of like ivy and vines and moss all over it, and it's like and it's much more epic in proportion and scale. Yeah. And so this song to me feels like I always think of the Funeral Party kind of, and as both being these like ballroom dance kind of things, like very tragic and melancholy, obviously, versions of that. But you just see like these kind of two ghostly figures dancing around, twirling. This one, it's a good song. I can't criticize it in anything. I just don't. I've never thought of it as like one of my favorites on the album, but
I really like it. Like after having listened to it more, I think I would have put this higher on the list than the one I sent you.
Wow. It's grown on you, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like? I'm guessing you like how kind of heavy the instruments are. They're
I like if I remember this correctly, like the heavy wah guitar.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, the way it comes and everything. Yeah, so they're downcast for sure.
Yeah. I also I pretty much like everything about this, with the exception of like the keyboard being a little bit too high pitched. But even after like listening to it a few times, it's not as bad as I initially thought in terms of the keyboard. I really like this song.
I've called songs before like spectral. This is the one that is most that way on this album, probably. Like very ghostly, in the best way. Yeah, great.
These next few songs didn't leave much of an impression on me. I don't think there was anything painful on this album, but what?
Wow, I'm just surprised.
Yeah,
after this, it's like two of the catchiest songs.
Yeah, we're kind of entering a little stretch where everything just felt kind of moderate and nothing really jumped out at me.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an explanation for it. I just didn't really find anything interesting to latch onto.
There's differences in taste.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Well,
I mean, this is always my problem with The Cure. Is that a lot of their songs, they just kind of feel kind of samey to me. Where even if intellectually, the instrumentals are different or something, but they just kind of blend together, and it's like, there's just nothing I'm really able to grab onto here.
Oh, I'm not surprised to hear you say that about certain songs on here, like Last Dance, but I was expect that more out of like Close Down than Lullaby and Fascination Street. Like these are very unique even within The Cure, I feel.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I meant like Last Dance and Lullaby feels. Fascination Street is that's. I overextended my clumping.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fine. I mean, but I'm not going to harp on it. But yeah, if we want to move on,
I don't have anything interesting to say.
Really? About Lullaby?
No, not really.
No,
I have fine, just kind of trucks along is my note for Lullaby. That's all I got.
Trucks along.
Yep.
So.
Man, I don't think so at all. This song sounds like fucking. I don't really think I can name a song. Really sounds like it.
It sounds like Three Imaginary Boys, like a new version.
Kind of, but it's like. I also think of it as like the dark cousin to Close to Me, kind of, because they both have like the creepy whispered vocals and this like kind of playful attitude to them. But this, I love the like fucking violin in this is so fucking catchy. And it sounds like it's being played on a fucking spider web, like like that. So fucking sticks in my head, and I love the music video too. It's like
I watched it. That's probably like the best of the Cure music videos. Like a lot of effort went into that one. That
definitely, they're just covered in dust, and the fucking Spider-Man version of him with the fucking insane makeup is fucking great. I love the fucking creepiness of this track. Like it also just builds on that kind of thing of like, I always think of it kind of harkening back a bit to A Forest. That's also like kind of a single. But they both just have this like very fucking slasher thing to them, and it's like it's a mood that hasn't been serviced on the album yet. This like short horror story almost of this fucking entity that's fucking writhing and wrapping itself around you, but it's also romantic in a fucked up way. Like that's what makes it work, because it's like it's a kind of a love song, but it's a fucked up love, like a cannibalistic sort.
I don't even see it like that. Like for me, it's just pure horror. Like I see nothing really romantic.
Don't struggle like that. I will only love you more.
Yeah, that's one of the most the most fucked up lyrics in this.
Putting his tongue in my eyes.
This
This
song.
this would be a good song for like Twin Peaks or something. Like it's it's fucking
For
it's
any
good.
horror story, movie, whatever. Yeah, and this is like I've listened to the Disintegration album a few times before this, like months or even years back, and this was the song that stuck out. The one song that stuck out for me, and that I like had put in a playlist since then. Yeah, I really like the song. It's just super creepy and memorable. I also like the sort of staccato rhythm. That's something I really like in
Yes,
the song.
that's what it, yes.
Um,
That's what I was alluding to.
yeah,
Yeah, one of
the
the more memorable singles. Like if you just asked me to pick just Cure songs that are singles, like some of my favorite singles of all time, like yeah, it's definitely up there. For
yeah,
sure.
it's also like it's enhanced by the whispered singing. Like this is one of the songs that has a
He's
good
like
vocal performance.
he's like slurping at certain points. Like it's so fucking scary. Like he's like
Gross.
that noise almost. Yeah. No, it's good shit.
Yeah, I also like the lyrics. It's just a straight up creepy, memorable horror story. I really like this song.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I love this high concept sort of thing. And Fascination Street, I struggle like which one I like more. Like I said with all the singles, but yeah, man, Fascination Street is just fucking so remarkable just for the guitar work.
The guitar was more the bass, I think, isn't it? Like super bass heavy.
Yeah, the bass is catchy, but like it has like 7 different riffs in it, like, and they're all fucking great. Like, and the way that it layers them over each other, like. There were enough like guitar leads in the song to like you could stretch them over like 3 others. Like they could have made 3 songs out of this song, but they decided to just like, no, just keep throwing stuff in there. It's like Robert and Robert and Porl are both like just fucking going off on their respective instruments there. Yeah, the bass obviously is like what hooks it, but man, it's just got such a fucking groove to it. Like it's yeah, just like infectious.
Yeah, I definitely noticed the guitars more than anything else. Feel like Fascination Street is just carried by the different licks.
There's like 3 or 4 guitar melodies going on at the same time. Like,
yeah, okay,
that's
I
what makes
thought
it
that was
rewarding
a different song. Okay, that was interesting.
That's rewarding to listen to the song like repeatedly. Is like you key on different like melodies that are going on at the same time, and you're like, "Ooh, I never noticed that."
Yeah, I remember it now
busy.
from the listening party, but for some strange reason, I thought that was happening in Disintegration. So it seems like I mixed some stuff up.
Yeah, a tiny bit in Disintegration, but yeah, it's mostly Fascination Street. Yeah, just yeah, an interesting addition. Like thematically, the lyrically and like what it's I think it fits in sonically very well, but it's kind of playing with a different mood than the other tracks. It's being more like upbeat and kind of like going out for a few drinks at night to some weird shit is gonna go down in Fascination Street, obviously, but it's kind of like it's kind of embracing the whole like alcoholic binge aspect of this album more than most of the other tracks that are regretful about it. Yeah.
It sounds like somewhat like something from Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. Like,
yeah, it would not be out of place on Kiss Me, Kiss Me.
Like shit, no, I forgot which song it sort of reminds me of. I mean, I do kind of like the song. I mean, I really like the bass. I like the background effects and stuff. I do like the guitar and the instrumentation in general. I'm not a fan of the lyrics or vocals, though. Not really.
Okay. I think they're fun.
Yeah,
right?
everything was fine, but I feel like the guitars are really what carried the song for me. I don't think there's anything in this I would fixate on other than the guitars. I was also
one that is really fun to try and learn on guitar because you're like trying to jump between all these different riffs.
I was also a little weirded out because I think didn't RA the other day say this was like his favorite Cure song?
Well, it's the only one he knows like from popular culture, like just through osmosis. He's heard Fascination Street, which is weird. I can't imagine having heard Fascination Street but not having ever heard Love Song or Friday I'm in Love or even Just Like Heaven.
Yeah, I haven't heard it before. It didn't jump out to me as one that would be anyone's favorite. I mean, it's one of their better songs, I think, but like top
It's a good
third,
it,
not like
it
top
does sound.
1%.
I get. I mean, RA likes Rush a lot, and this has
Yeah.
like a bit of Rush in
That's
it.
This
fair.
has more instrumental focus. This one, they're jamming on this one more than on most tracks. I don't even know if RA has really heard any other Cure song, because I was mentioning like Friday I'm in Love, and he does like he didn't know what it was. So I don't think it. I think it's his favorite Cure song because it's the only Cure song he knows.
Yeah, he thought you were just telling him.
Yes. But yeah, fun.
Okay.
I mean, it's also welcome. Like, I think the like more upbeat ones are like spaced out fairly well in this album. Like,
I don't
Love
even
Song.
consider this one upbeat. Like
Well, the way it starts up, like you just had Last Dance and Lullaby, right? And these are very like creeping songs. And then suddenly you just hear like this like starting off. It like kind of rouses you from the more laconic ones where you're like,
yeah, but it's too heavy to be upbeat in a way.
well, sure. I'm not saying it's fucking happy. Like I mean up tempo. Like it's
Okay.
like it's it's faster.
Yeah, sure. It's a different tempo. That
Yeah. Like,
upbeat for me means
the
happy.
same way like Disintegration does that after same Deep Water as You. Like just starts with this fucking rolling drum thing. Yeah. Anyway, Prayers for Rain.
Yes.
Good song. Good guitar. Very good guitar tone and bass tone. Like
bass. Yeah. This.
Yeah.
I don't know. You go first.
Man. I talked about my like visual metaphor for this album earlier, and yeah, this is like. I always have like multiple like things flying around my head with this, and I'm always thinking like I don't know, it's like the fall of the House of Usher or something, and I always think of like an abandoned kind of rose garden, like starting to become like disheveled and uncared for. Like Prayers for Rain and Same Deep Water as You is like it's like a fucking thundercloud and then just like flooding everything. Like this is where everything really starts to turn to shit. Not that it hasn't been like obviously the whole album is very dark and moody, but yeah, here is where it's really just being like, okay, now you're gonna fucking I'm dragging you down into the fucking deep dark waters with me. And Prayers for Rain is kind of like I almost view it as like an intro track to the stretch of the album I love most, like to the next 3 songs.
This would be like a good album opener.
Yeah, it's like good opener. It's shorter than the others. If you look at track length, I kind of counts like the beginning of the countdown because it's like this one's 6, and then the next are 9, 8, 7, 6 minutes respectively. So it's like they're going down progressively, and this is like the opening set for Same Deep Water as You. Yeah, just really good track. I like it a lot. Very. The sparseness of it, like the echoiness of it, really fucking gives you like a kind of a like a creepy paranoid sensation, like you've like stumbled upon somewhere like some ancient like sacred place almost, and you're like like in this fucking expanse of fucking of water and ruins, and you're just like, oh yeah. It's I also like I said this is like a kind of a refinement of Faith, but also he is definitely like sprinkling stuff in how he felt on Pornography in here. But it's more refined, where it's like, whereas Pornography was like physically painful, everything on here is much more palatable. But he's still bringing in those kind of lyrical things also from like the Kiss of like, strangle me, entangle me, just like feeling killing and all that stuff is appearing in the lyrics now. It's getting much like bleaker and angrier. This like the beginning of the storm. Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Storm. This song reminds me of Tool songs in general. And initially I thought that it reminded me of like a specific Tool song, and I couldn't find it. And then just pretty much the same thing that happened with one of the songs from. Not from Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, but from Head on the Door, where I also just found the song that I was looking for, like
yes,
maybe an hour before we went on the podcast. It wasn't a Tool song, although the song still reminds me of Tool. It was an alternative to Freedom by Witchcraft. That's what it sounds like. I pretty much like everything about the song, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I do like the bass, I do like the guitar, I do like the effects, I do like the keyboard. yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the string, the like violin thing keeps it from being too repetitive and dour. Like the way that comes in and is like the lightest element of the song are these still very foreboding strings that kind of float around the top of the song. Yeah,
For me, it's just the bass tone. The
sure.
bass song.
Hell yeah, Green.
I'm not going to be popular for this. Prayers for Rain and Same Deep, it's kind of the same thing as before. I just don't really feel much with them. I just don't like I don't like their tone or their feel. To me, this is when I don't get the Cure at all. Is when I feel like it settles into this kind of like muddy, moderate darkness where it feels like there's nothing interesting going on that I'd latch onto. It's nothing personal. I just don't really get these ones at all.
Nothing personal, kid.
Yeah.
The Cure behind
it just kind of fades into that big blob of Cure songs that I don't get. Then people are confused that I don't get them.
Well,
that's like
the idea.
It is.
The idea with songs like those are that people kind of like to like wallow in them, if that makes sense. Like they're that feeling of just being like strung out and like kind of you feel like you're like it's like when you're floating like face up in water almost. You're like
I kind of get that, but I guess I like the Pink Floyd style of exploring that emotion. The Cure, when they do it, I just don't get it as much.
Okay.
Yep.
Same Deep Water as you is a tough sell for most people. I get that. It's fucking long. I think it's one of the most gorgeous songs ever written. Like instrumentally, vocally, just like it's almost like a deconstruction of Love Song, because Love Song gives you it they're both coming from the same place of like deep longing and heartache and love for someone, but whereas that one is much more positive and hopeful, Same Deep Water as You is just like the realization that something can't be and having to like come to that realization and its consequences. And man, it just like rips into me after a bit. Like it takes a bit to get going, but like it kind of builds itself up, and like just the echoey instrumentation of it, just reverberation of it is something that just find like deeply personal. It's just fucking heartbreaking, man. Yeah, but I know Jaws isn't the biggest fan. That's fine.
I like
more shifts and stuff, but I like just living in the song, and I don't mind it being 9 minutes
long
because I'm like, good.
You want to live in the source, as Homer famously said. The rain effects are good on the song.
Oh yeah.
The keyboard is okay. Guitar is fine. This is like a little bit weird. Initially, I thought there was like no bass on this track, and then eventually I could hear it like faintly. Like it's like hardly there for me to hear, and I think it's just
the drums are also funny because it's just the snare and like a little bit of hi-hat. Like you almost forget it because it's like it's very frittery and melting into the background. Other than the main kick bit, obviously.
Yeah, it's just a bit too long and too repetitive for what it is. It's okay, but just if it were shorter, it would be there. I would not have.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really have a problem with it, other than it just being a bit too repetitive.
Very fair.
Yeah, it's fair. Well, I mean, I feel like we're going pretty quickly past these. I thought there was going to be a lot more arguing.
It helps that I keep looking at my thing thinking, we were so far to the end. It's like, oh no, wait, we got the singles done first, so we're getting there.
Oh,
the B-sides, you mean?
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah. Well, fuck. Well, without further ado, I guess. It's not that integration, it's disintegration. No. Man. Fucking title track of all title tracks. I mean, this is my favorite Cure song of all time. It's fuck, man. As soon as it starts, I'm just not here. Like, fucking don't talk to me.
Before I had my morning disintegration.
Seriously, like that fucking glass smash sound. I'm just like I'm just like somewhere else. Like, if this is like the thesis statement of just like ruination, like it just comes like a fucking earthquake and just like destroys everything. just like everything. Like, it's the end of pop music. It's the end of like anything you ever thought was cool or cared about. None of it fucking mattered at all. It's so good. Like, it hurts so good. I don't know why. Just like, it perfectly captures something that I feel and have always felt my whole life, and then like just seeing it like represented by a song in such fucking complete terms, and just all the instrumentals being so fucking pitch perfect. Man, I've spent like fucking days just like looping Disintegration like shit. It's just so good. Someone get me get me some tissues. You guys can talk.
An autistic hyperfixation.
Yeah, Michi has to go masturbate real quick while we.
I really do. I really do. Like, it's
okay.
I couldn't hope for a better song. Like,
yeah. I mean,
I want to express in my art, like, at all times.
I mean, this is a really good song. I do really like it. It's like one of the best songs on the album. Yeah,
I was so worried before we listened to it. I was like, maybe they'll all think it's just boring, because it's just not pummeling fucking.
The early section, like the first, I don't know, 1.5 minutes or so, is like maybe a little bit repetitive, but the song just keeps building, and like at the half point or a little bit earlier, the chugga chugga sound kicks in, and that's when the song really starts.
Yes.
I do like the bass. I do like the guitar. I do like all the effects. I do like the vocals. This is the best vocal performance on the album.
Oh, totally. It's so fucking.
The lyrics are also pretty good, and
just the honesty that he just like belts that. Like everything from like, so it all come back to Breaking Apart again, and into like that bridge with like the Eye of the Needle metaphor and all that stuff. Like, he's just fucking going for it.
That's really good.
Fucking I know. It just like fucking rattles my fucking spine, makes all my hairs go on end. It's and I feel like you're saying like it totally builds, but like in a different way, because it's like I always think like the song always makes me think of like thorns and like rose bushes. Like, it's like a gnarling like just these like fucking like black vines and like, you know, thorny fucking brambles are just fucking curling and growing into like this giant.
I find it kind of curious that so many of the Cure songs for you invoke like nature. Like, none of the Cure songs to me do that.
To me, I don't
what
know.
About
it's
Caterpillar
like...
Jaws?
Also does not invoke nature to me.
To me, this song is like spiraling, right? Like that's what I think of it as. Like, it's this like just like the spiral, but you're going like towards the center of it. Like, you're being fucking pulled into it, and it's just like all these fucking gnarled thorns, and you can't get out. Like, it's a fucking whirlpool. I don't know. I just that's what instrumental stuff normally throws me to like nature stuff, because it's like pure. Like, lyrics and stuff, that's like the material world, right? Like, that's like,
I get what you mean. That's interesting way.
Because language is man-made, right? So that's like the human aspect of the song. The instrumentation of a song, that's like why I like music, because it's like it's otherworldly. Like, just the fact that notes could resonate with humans in such a way as to when you hear just like the piano line come in on this song, just like fucking, why does that make me feel anything? Isn't that weird? Like, evolutionarily, there is not any reason for like a collection of notes to make you feel something, right? So that to me feels like nature, because it's like something that has always existed without humans and is like independent of them. I mean, birdsong is like the origin of music, right? So it all comes back to being like bigger than just people. Like, it's always like these big landscapes and stuff like that. like roses going. Like I always think like this album is all about like flowers just like going like dark and limp and their petals falling off and fucking weeds and plant evil thorns appearing in the middle of like a nice garden. Like that's what it evokes to me in a good way. It is disintegration. It's like ruin. It's like rotting almost. Yeah. Green.
I don't know if I have anything to say that is appropriately matched to that.
Well, you don't have to.
I definitely.
Just want to know what you think about it.
I liked the song. I liked the nice jaunty start. It had a fun beat. You could tell they cared and put a lot of work into the song. I think Disintegration. There's nothing on this album that I think is like a favorite Cure song for me, or the last album really either. Both of these albums feel like they're more consistently good than most of the albums so far, but they don't have standout songs I'm going to latch onto. I think Disintegration and Fascination Street and maybe Plainsong here, when we do the best songs at the end, they'll probably be on that list, but they'll be near the bottom of the list.
Okay, that's fair.
Disintegration
but do you
good,
feel
though.
like they're getting better as albums, though? Probably.
Yeah, and this honestly, Disintegration. This is the first album where I've had like maybe not the first, but I think it is the one that has had the strongest sense of identity so far, where the songs are cohesive and there's a unifying tone between them.
As a singular statement, Disintegration stands very well as just like it starts and ends and does everything it kind of sets out to do. Like it's like here's the idea and we're gonna do it, and they do it right, and there's no like missteps.
Yeah, this album feels the most coherent. I don't even know if that makes it the best album overall, but it's the one that's most unified.
Yeah, well, there's
a
difference
idea.
between like what you think. Yeah, what's the best album? What's your favorite one? What all these things. Yeah, but Disintegration as a track is it's Kino, and it doesn't feel its length, which is impressive. Like there's this thing the Cure can do sometimes. I know you guys have different opinions on this, but like they're very good at their longer songs they're really just like 4/4 pop songs. It's just the section the spaces between each section are longer usually, so they manage to stretch out like. This song feels like 4 minutes to me, but it's like over 8 minutes long. But it just like comes and goes, and because you're kind of used to that structure, you don't really notice that they're adding 20 seconds here and 20 seconds there and 20 seconds there, and by the end of it, you're like, oh damn, the song is a fucking epic, but it like feels light to me, and it's a fucking so. Like you'd think it would have fucking dulled somewhat, like the hundreds of times I listened to it, but no, it's like so I put it on today, and I'm still getting fucking goosebumps. I'm like, shit. Just great stuff. And Homesick is almost as good. Like
Homesick is my favorite song on the album.
The stretch just like fucking the stretch just fucking wrecks me. It's like I know you guys don't feel the same way, but it's like you start the slow growing like heartbreak of Same Deep Water as You into like the fucking it's not like raging, but it's like just like everything is over, like fighting against it, like try not to cry, like power of Disintegration, and then into just like pure like catatonic coma that is Homesick. Like Homesick is just like everything is fucking over. Like that is a song to just like fucking Disintegration, Homesick after it. That's just like the end of the world. Like if you're just like standing somewhere just watching like an apocalypse happen, like it's just everything is fucking like breaking apart, the entropy, like it's fucking melting. It's just fucking perfect. Like as soon as that fucking piano starts in Homesick, you're just like, yep. I just feel I'm just like Charlie. You know Charlie when like his mind gets broken in Smiling Friends, and he's like they do that close up shot where he's like sitting on the chair and he's like like looking forward like glass-eyed and drooling. I'm just fucking dead. I'm just like oh my God, I can't fucking think. Like it's so good. I'm just like, how could this? Yeah, these two songs being real is weird to me.
But I pretty much like everything about the song. We're not even negative thing. The only thing criticizing that I have is like the synth strings are merely fine, but the rest. I mean,
I love
it's
that
just a
moment when they
beautiful,
come in, like,
just a beautiful song, and I like it a
oh
lot.
my god, Joss said a song was beautiful. I fucking win.
Yes,
Yes,
beautiful.
he can do it.
You defeated.
No, I totally agree. It's fucking gorgeous. Like it's and like the way it like swings, it almost has like a jazzy thing to it in like a weird way, like because it has this like honky tonk kind of like piano line to it, but it just that's the whole thing with the song. It's like it's recontextualizing stuff that normally would be like hopeful and happy, and just being like, just like the ways, it's just being like showing you the darkness in all those things and like how pointless like a lot of that stuff can be. And I'm not saying that's like a valid viewpoint. I'm just saying that resonates with you when you feel like that, when you're feeling like everything is over and stuff is pointless, and just like this album, multiple people have like called it like therapeutic almost, because like you feel such emotional release just by empathy with some of these songs. And the fucking way it brings back the do, like that to me is such a fucking brilliant move to like throw in there, because it's like this is like the dumbest metaphor I'm ever gonna make, but it's like I'm in great pain, and, like it's like that, right? It's like,
Oh no.
the way in which it flips that whole thing on its head. It just shows you like the dark side of the moon aspect to a lot of like their pop songs. Smoked, just done.
Hmm.
And it brings like
Hot
a nice
damn.
violin line at the end when you're not expecting it too. Like it has so much stuff in it. Fucking those synth things that just like build and build into this fucking explosive crescendo. Yeah, it's fucking great. Yeah, sorry, Green. Go on.
No, it's crazy.
Just lost in yeah.
I mean,
in
I
euphoria.
had a note saying the beginning comes dangerously close to sounding like a shitty pop song.
How dare you?
But it picks up from
that's
there.
fine. I mean, it's like a commentary on pop, kind of like that's part of this album's appeal. It's like I was thinking of it because like when the Cure's first album came out, there like of the few reviews that like Three Imaginary Boys, one of them said like the '80s start here was like a quote from a magazine, right? And I always think like Disintegration is the end of the '80s, like. It's
Damn.
89. I mean, temporally, but also musically. Like, this is the decade of like the greatest like pop music excess, right? Michael Jackson, Wham, and all the stuff, Duran Duran, synth pop, and all this stuff. That's really fun. I'm not bagging on it, but like, this album is such a fucking counterpoint to that, and is just like this is the closing of the decade, and let us not forget like the fucking eternal night, right?
I think
that people are kind of ignoring with all the drugs and excess and exuberance of the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Cure defeated the Soviet Union actually.
Probably.
Because 89 was the end of the Cold War. Disintegration. Yeah.
I mean, this is it. This is how Robert Smith is feeling. This is the end of his productive years as he sees it. This was the end of his relationship with Lowell Tolhurst, who I haven't mentioned, but his alcoholism during the recording of this album was strong, to put it mildly. He basically contributed almost nothing to this. I think actually they said he maybe made the piano lick for Homesick, which is funny, but it's Roger O'Donnell playing it. And after this album, he gets kicked out of the band, which is sad. I mean, he's like Robert Smith's best friend. He's been the only other consistent member of The Cure from the very beginning. And Robert is forced by the other bandmates. Like, they're like, yeah, either he goes or we all go. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. And it's sad. And that's also part of, I feel that dejection is also on this album. Like, he kind of knew that was coming. Like, this couldn't go on for very long. I mean, the band was disintegrating.
It'd be hilarious if the album after this, every song was about the albatross around your neck being cast aside and soaring to new heights, unburdened by the dead weight.
It's that good wish, but Lowell Tolhurst will sue Robert Smith during the recording of the next album. Yeah.
For stealing his booze.
Well, yeah, it doesn't go well.
Okay.
But we'll get to that next time.
Okay.
Yeah, Green, you didn't really say what you thought about Homesick. Yeah.
Homesick was
like,
fine. didn't have strong feelings about it. I was distracted for the first 30 seconds or so because I kept thinking like this would almost be in place in a top 40 like pop radio station. But I mean it progressed into something fine from there. Just I don't know, don't have anything useful to say. I like the next song more. I'll say that.
Interesting.
Really? Hmm.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I love Untitled has grown on me a lot. When I first heard it, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, false
Just because
advertising.
well, no, I think it's a perfect outro actually. And also, I was thinking of that today. Like, I wonder how many teenagers didn't kill themselves because of Untitled. Because like, if you just listen to Cindy Waters' "You Disintegration" and "Homesick," if the album just ended there, I can see just like unbalanced teen, just like goth kids, just be like, "Yep, it's over," and slitting my fucking wrists. But the nice uplifting like shift into Untitled, works really well. I also think of like Night on Bald Mountain, like the Disney short, because that's like the darkest they ever go, and it's all this demonic thing and Chernobog and stuff. But then, famously, like the bell tolls, and the final section is this very beautiful, like almost abstract rendition of Ave Maria, where it ends with like the sun rising, and that's how it feels like Untitled feels like. It's like the sunbeams breaking through like the midnight that we've been stewing in. Also very fun to walk along to because it has like a very upbeat tempo to it, and you're just like swinging your head side to side. I love the synth, like I mean
Also an accordion.
they're like strings. Yeah, it sounds like an accordion.
Like a sea shanty at the
It
beginning.
almost sounds like it's like a bagpipe almost. Like you just imagine like you're on a cliffside and it's like very windswept and almost like salty smell in the air, and you're like And then I love that it kind of like the lyrics are just this very like brief bit, which is very like I like them. They kind of play the same ideas like homesick, like wanting to return and stuff like that, but then they kind of fade out and it kind of like ripples out into this very, again, like glittering ethereal thing, kind of throwing back to plain song in a way, and it fizzles out in a very satisfying way. Like the way this album opens and ends is very strong for me.
This is like one of the least favorite songs for me on the album. I do like the synth intro and outro, and I do like the bass. Guitar is okay, but the song
more to it. Yeah. I was gonna say, well, if you like all those parts, there isn't much of the song that isn't those parts. To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. It's just too long, too repetitive, and too boring overall. So it's okay, but
I get why you think that. And it's not like I adored this song, but I thought there was some nice contrast with the different elements. Like they had the low instruments and the lighter, faster ones that are a little more plinky.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, it avoided things that I just don't like with The Cure, where this I keep using the phrase muddiness, where I feel like some of their slower, sadder songs is just nothing for me to focus my attention on. I like that this had some just like lighter, breezier instruments in the foreground that I could kind of pay attention to as it was trucking along. Not a great song, but it was it's probably the top 5 on this album. It's probably like 4.
Yeah, it really grows on you, this song. Like I was more like Jaws for the first like 5-6 times I had heard this album. Yeah, I think it's a good capper. I mean, just great album, really. It's I feel bad saying it's my favorite Cure album because that's what everyone says, but it is my favorite Cure album. I mean, sometimes when I'm in a different mood, I might go for Kiss Me, but yeah, generally, Disintegration all day, baby. I'll burn that album down anytime. I'm never like, oh, I don't feel like listening to Disintegration. Yeah. It's a trip. It's a journey. It's got a lot of things going on for it, and it definitely benefits on re-listens. There's a lot to look forward to in this album, a lot to find, a lot to discover. Yeah, it's great, and everyone loved it forever, and it sold 1 billion copies, and rocketed the fucking Cure into their biggest stratospheric fame. They were the biggest band in like 1989, 1990, basically, like mainstream band. They were playing at Dodger Stadium to fucking 55,000 people. Yeah, just smash success. Great, and then they never made another album ever again. No, I'm no, Wish is great, and you guys will like. It could be Green's favorite Cure album. I would not be surprised.
It still, to this point, has my favorite Cure song on it, I believe.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no,
even though it's like
Wish is no Disintegration. Like, it is not as good as Disintegration, and you won't find many people who will think that, except for like very like casual fans who have basically only heard that album because they got into the Cure from Friday I'm in Love in like 1992. But it's a solid album, and it would have been a great stopping point, honestly. I mean, the last song on it is called End, and after that they released the terrible Wild Mood Swings. So yeah, everyone wishes they had stopped with Wish, because it was like the last time they're really culturally relevant either. Like, it's 1992, it's just before
I
grunge,
was born,
and it's just before like grunge and Britpop start as like prevailing trends. So it didn't feel like dated the way Wild Mood Swings definitely does in 96. And it was kind of like the last of Robert Smith's like pure creative energy. Like, is immediately after that he just like gets insane writer's block that prevails until 2024.
Wait. So we have 4 shitty albums before the next good one?
No. Hold on. We have one good album, then a shitty one.
Okay.
Then a surprisingly good one, actually. Like Blood Flowers is worthwhile. Then 2 terrible, the worst albums. And then the one that released yesterday is good again. So, out of the 5 that are upcoming, no, 6, sorry, the 6 that are left, 3 of them are bad, 3 of them are good. Yeah.
All right.
But I don't think anything is as good as Disintegration.
I'm only listening to the bad ones twice.
I mean, that's more than I've listened to. Anyway, also I didn't mention the live version of Disintegration, which is fun, Curio.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
I like it a lot. I think of it as like a shiny version of a Pokemon. Like, it's not as great as the original because that's like iconic and stuff, but I enjoy it from time to time, going like, ooh, I want to hear the like fast up tempo fucking scratchy guitar chugga chugga version of Disintegration. Also, I like how he belts it at the end. He's like he's like really emotional. It's like always at the end. It's fun. Yeah, worthwhile. And also, I forgot to say this in the last one, but I mentioned Deftones' cover of If Only Tonight We Could Sleep, but I forgot to mention Dinosaur Jr.'s amazing cover of Just Like Heaven. Everyone should listen to that. It's a cool fuzz rock version everyone really likes. Yeah, and if you want a samba version of Love Song, go listen to 311's cover of it. Kind of cheesy, but kind of fun.
Oof.
And that's it for Disintegration.
Damn. I'm disintegrating by the moment.
I'm disintegrating every day.
Yes, it's everyone.
Integration.
That is the true message of the album.
Yeah. Man.
It is.
Man,
Wow.
Michi, I don't feel so good. Turns into sand.
That's what it feels like.
Okay, gonna turn off now.